Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So against my better judgment, I went to the semi-annual sale from Bath & Body Works. Again, there's one store close to me that for some reason keeps getting these juicy online exclusive returns or rando 75% off candles, and they'll literally be like one off. So it's just like always scratches my itch to like go check up on that store. But I actually went into that store and I instead found the entire Oud test collection, and I was like, what? This is like almost better than a online return. So we have a SAS collection with the Oud collection in hand, as well as a few other knickknacks as well, and we'll get right into it. So yeah, I went into that store, and in like the regular walls area, the entire Oud collection was out. So if you don't know, the Oud collection was those test candles that tested in Atlanta and I think Ohio for quite some time. And then we figured they failed because they clearanced them out during Candle Day and I believe SAS. And I was like, well, they're probably not going to go wide and whatever. So that was that. So then I go into the store and I see the entire collection, and I ask the lady, I'm like, are these ringing up full price? And she's like, yeah, they're full price. They're actually not supposed to be out yet. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I was like, these actually tested in Atlanta, so I thought they failed, so it was weird to see them here. And she was pretty adamant that they were full price and meant for the spring release. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I guess I'll pick them up during the next sale. And so that was that. And then I posted on my Instagram stories that I found the Oud collection, and I was like, oh my god, hey guys, check this out. Maybe it's coming out wide. And then I got messages, thank you so much to both Matthew and Matt on Instagram, who messaged me letting me know that they had found either at their store, they saw a post that's saying that these Oud collections were actually 50% off. And I was like, you know what, that makes total sense, because I originally, the reason I asked whether or not it was full price was because I figured these would be like SAS sends rather than it going wide. So I was like, okay, well, let me call the store again and see. And I'm like, hey, I was just there, but can you please like actually physically price check this? Because I got a few messages saying that they're actually 50% off. And she's like, oh, okay, let me go do it. And then she's like, oh yeah, you're right, they actually are 50% off. So I was like, oh my god, girl, what? I was like, well, I'll see you in a few minutes. So that's what I did. So I did smell all of them, and here they are. Honestly, they're nothing like, oh my god, amazing. They're certainly not my cup of tea or taste of fragrances, but I still got 4 of them because it's just like, they're elusive test candles and they're 50% off, and I was able to use a 10 off 40 mailer coupon on it, and then so they brought it down to like $10, and that's much cheaper than having to like travel to Atlanta or Ohio to obtain them. So I'm like, well, I can get them locally for $10. Let me just get them and call it a day. So I did get 4 of them. The ones I did not get were Sunrise Marina, which was just like this nondescript, like sort of clean cologne fragrance. It could have potentially been out as something else before. I don't really know. It was just kind of nondescript and I really couldn't smell it. And that was like a Coastal Air and Cypress or something like that. So that was a pass. We then had Caramel and Oud, which originally I was like, wait, this is a repackage of caramel cream soda. But then a member of the repackage committee was so kind enough to send me a message saying that it's actually Mary Maple Bourbon. And I was like, oh my god, you're right. Which is funny because Mary Maple Bourbon and caramel cream soda also share a very similar caramel note. So Caramel Oud is indeed Mary Maple Bourbon. It's just totally weird that it went from like a sophisticated like luxury oud fragrance to something super cutesy like Mary Maple Bourbon. That just goes to show you how like much they stretch their marketing and naming to be able to fit whatever sells the best. So just putting that out there. There was also Dark Amber and Oud, which has been out before, and I really don't care for that fragrance. There was also Rose and Oud, which you would have thought that would have been my favorite, but that is actually indeed a repackage of Pink, Rose, and Leather right here from that Candle Day Hibernation Station collection. And this was Supple Leather, Blooming Rose Petals, and Comforting Patchouli. And I'm sure the notes on the Rose Oud one were very similar as well. It was probably like Oud, Patchouli, and Rose or something like that. This one, I first thought I liked it, but once I started to go with Burn It, it was just really heavy on the leather that I didn't really care for it. I'm somebody who likes a powdery, like mature, feminine rose, rather than like the whatever this and Rose Oud is selling. So that was a total pass for that as well. And then so we are have the remaining 4 that I did pick up, and we'll get right into it. So we first have Tobacco and Oud. I have to say, these like matte gray, both the lid and the jar are really juicy, along with the metallic label and the font. I just really enjoy the way this looks. So that's Tobacco Oud right there, if it would focus. There we go. And these do say White Barn on the top right there, so that's kind of juicy too. I like when they have like actual like bespoke or custom lids for a collection, and in this case, like this lid I don't believe was used anywhere else. So we have fresh tobacco leaves, vetiver, and oud wood. So normally not really up my alley, but it has that like almost like shaving cream type of like Iris Spring type of like tobacco fragrance is most certainly in here. If you remember the tobacco flower fragrance from a while back, a similar vibe to that for sure. It has that like traditional almost like shaving cream type of tobacco fragrance. It doesn't smell like cigarettes or like, you know, like that. It smells more like whatever the tobacco flower or like tobacco and home fragrance smells like, which kind of smells more like shaving cream. Yeah, kind of like a shaving cream plus leathery type of fragrance is what I get from it. It's not something I would like gravitate towards normally, but it's elusive and test scenty, so let me just get it. Yeah, it has an atmospheric, like sophisticated vibe to it, so maybe one day I'll get into it. We then have vanilla and oud right here, and that's what that looks like right there. It's like a green sage type of label on it. This one says smoky vanilla, rich leather, and oud wood. I swear I have smelled this before, but I'm not sure what it is. Oh my gosh, I don't know if this is in body care or if it was aromatherapy or if it was a candle before. So initially I was like, I wonder if it's similar to the vanilla and oak wood from that test collection, which is also, this is a repackage of vanilla sage that we've seen out before. I mean, a similar fragrance family for sure, but it is not this. And then I was like, well, maybe it's a cedarwood and vanilla from the aromatherapy that we had a while back, and that's what that looks like. It is not this, but once again, similar fragrance family for sure. So if you like either of those two, this is definitely in that same family. I don't know, it's that like kind of like a frosted lavender type of fragrance is what I get from it. That's similar to like the frosted lavender that you get, not frosted lavender, frosted vanilla that you get from like something like this. But also, I think Ice Vanilla Woods piece, which then became that vanilla noir and lavender thing, also has a similar like frosted like vanilla plus lavender blend to it. That it's vaguely similar to that, but it's not that either. I don't know, it could be potentially new, but I feel like I've just smelled this somewhere before. But it is like, if you like any of those fragrances that I just described, this is very much in that route. It kind of smells like vanilla coated rubber erasers as well. So that's what that smells like. So vanilla oud right there. We then have Scotch Lounge, which is probably my favorite in terms of just like how unique and different it is, and then we haven't gotten anything like this before. So we have Scotch Lounge right there, and that's what that looks like. This one is aged Scotch, rolled cigars, and oud wood. Yeah, so this one's also quite intense. Very much has that like, I guess, Scotch alcoholic fragrance to it. I don't drink, so I can't really give too much of a comparison there, but it kind of smells like what you would expect this fragrance to smell like. It's almost like a slightly sweet, boozy component in there, mixed with, I guess, more like a slightly like ashy type of cigar fragrance is possibly in there as well. Yeah, it smells kind of like you had like cigars going with scotch, I guess. But I like how atmospheric and very like 1920s, like roaring 20s type of feel that this gives me. Very like Art Deco lounge or something is what this vibe gives me, and I really enjoyed that part of it. Like the fragrance alone is not something I normally enjoy or gravitate towards, but I like the atmosphere that this sells. So Scotch Lounge right there. And then lastly, we have Spa Day right here, and that's what that looks like, and that is that. This one is soft cedarwood, blooming jasmine, and oud wood. This also smells like rubber erasers. Maybe oud smells like erasers because all of these have that like rubbery eraser quality to it. This one smells like rubber erasers with a hint of like a woodsy floral is what this smells like. Yeah, it smells a whole lot like rubber erasers. It's very rubbery, and then it has a slightly woodsy floral component to it, but it's not like your traditional, beautiful, vibrant, like fragrant jasmine that you would get like out in the wild from like a night blooming jasmine or a traditional like powdery body care feminine jasmine. Not really at all like that. I mean, it's probably the most feminine out of all of them because there is a floral presence in there, but there's still so much of that like rubber eraser oud wood and a slight woodsiness mixed in there. All right, I can't quite say that this reminds me of a spa day. Like, I feel like a spa day would be a little bit more clean or herbal or refreshing, but it exists for $10 and it's an elusive test scent. I guess I'll try it. So spa day right there. It was just fun that like threw this at us at the very, like towards the end of SAS. So there's like something fun to talk about. So there was that. So that was the entire Oud collection. I mean, I appreciate the uniqueness and the sort of like luxury market fragrances that they're doing, but these are the type of luxury fragrances that I do not enjoy at all. I like the super floral type, that more like perfumey, and not so much this. So this is kind of like not really my cup of tea, but yeah, it's there. So that was that. Let's see, moving on, what else did I get? At 2 stores, I actually saw this on the 75% off table, so they must have just got like a random shipment of it in. It's whipped vanilla chiffon. I think this was out during like that 2020 era lockdown maybe, so I couldn't quite get this easily, but I always love this fragrance. And this was wild vanilla bean, spun sugar, and white peach blossom. This is great. It's just like a awesome like juicy vanilla fragrance that's like laced with a vibrant, juicy citrus and peach fragrance. It's just like very creamy and awesome and like whipped vanilla chiffon-y. So I really enjoy this one. It's just like a nice, juicy, like creamy vanilla with an extra something type of fragrance. Kind of similar to like what Twinkly Nights offers. Very similar to that. So whipped vanilla chiffon right there. And then lastly, we had $3 Wallflowers, I believe. And my mom wanted a few and I wanted one, so that's what we did. And we have honeysuckle and peach spritz. So I ragged on this fragrance when it first came out last year, and I was like, it's just like another generic peach scent. I don't really care for it. And then after the review, I kept burning it more and more, and I just still really enjoyed it for some reason. It's weird. It's like a buttery peach with a slight hint of like a bubbly floral fragrance chilling in the background. That's still majorly a peach fragrance from BBW. And as you guys know, I refer to BBW peaches as usually like trash bag peaches. So BBW peaches and me don't get along very well. But I don't know, there was something weird and unique about this one that I enjoyed. I still wish that the honeysuckle on this was so much stronger, and it isn't, but it's still like unique enough that I actually grew to enjoy it. So honeysuckle blooms, juicy peaches, and orange zest. Like if I found this candle for 75% off, I would have most certainly grabbed it, but they don't have it, so the Wallflower was the next best thing, so I got one for myself and one for my mother as well. And then my mom wanted some springtime fragrances, so fresh cut lilacs is always a good one, and that's what that is right there. I believe I read somewhere on their website at one point that fresh cut lilacs is their #1 selling floral fragrance, which is crazy, but I guess it makes sense because it comes back out all the time. And then we have Fiji White Sands here, which is like a slight variation of Tiki Beach, and that's what that is. And I believe that is it. I did an exchange of the Amethyst Dreams candle that I had, which was like abysmally light, and I exchanged that for the Sea Salt Neroli and the Pink Lavender Nespresso. I've already done candle reviews on that, so I don't feel like I need to haul them here. If you want to know my thoughts, watch the reviews on my channel already. And I believe that is it. I'm just looking forward to SAS being over with, and I just want the spring candles to go on sale because there's a number of them that I really want to try. So I've kind of like described my thoughts on those on like Instagram Live and stuff already, so I won't like bore you guys with the details on here. And I believe that's it. Let me know if you found the Oud candles at your store. Despite what your sales associate might say, it might actually indeed be 50% off, as it seems to be the case with a lot of us. So check those out. And otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.